Welcome to the Rich Report, a podcast with news and information on high-performance computing. Today, my guest is from Intel. We have James Reinders. James is a director and evangelist for Intel software. James and I sat down to talk about a new release that the company has. It's the Intel Parallel Studio XE 2011 Service Pack. What this does is bring not just bug fixes, of course, but new functionality to Intel's HPC development tools. So I asked James to start out with basically what is this product and what does it do for customers?
We have a collection of tools from Intel, notably, our compilers, our libraries, our analysis tools, and we bring them together in a package we call Intel Parallel Studio XE. So everything I'm talking about applies to the latest version of that package. It also applies if you buy the tools individually. What we're announcing now is an update. We released these tools about a year ago, this current version, and we're updating the tools with essentially a service pack, if you will. But there's some exciting new functionality that I wanted to talk about. I tend to think of the things in this service pack in three categories. One is continued performance capabilities of our compilers and libraries. So, in other words, the world moves on, new hardware comes out, new competition comes out, but Intel is able to continue to provide the tools that give the best performance on Intel architecture, Intel microprocessors, and compatibles. So I can talk a little bit about that. The other thing is that we keep up with standards very strongly. I don't think there's anybody else in the industry doing a better job of this. And I think it's really important that tool vendors keep up with standards. So I've got a variety of them that we've done a fantastic job with. OpenMP 3.1, we have an implementation of that. That's a very new update to OpenMP. I think we're leading the way at implementing features from the C++ 11 standard, the Fortran 2003 and 2008 standards. While nobody has either of them completely implemented, to my knowledge, yet, we are leading the way at continuing to implement the key features that our customers are looking for. And so we've got that strong support of standards. And then finally, the third thing is continuing our commitment to helping with parallelism, with multi-core parallelism. So, I already mentioned the OpenMP 3.1, but we also have Intel Threading Building Blocks 4.0 integrated into this package and supported with our tools. And then Silk Plus, we've updated that to version 1. And of course, Silk Plus is contrasts with threading building blocks in some interesting ways. It's a subset of what threading building blocks can do, but it has two advantages. One, not only does it work for C++ users, but it definitely works for C programmers as well. So threading building blocks, by its nature, was aimed at C++ only, but we think it's really important to have a C solution. So Silk addresses that. And the other thing is, since it uses a compiler keywords and compiler extensions, the compiler actually helps you with the parallelism. It can help optimize, help you with ease of programming, easier debugging. Of course, the disadvantage, you don't get things for free. The disadvantage is it needs to be implemented in a compiler. So unlike library solutions, you can't just instantly port it everywhere. You need compiler support, just like you need compiler support for many of the other standards I was mentioning, including OpenMP. So we believe very strongly that this is the trend over time. So we give people the opportunity to address parallelism with library solutions like TBB, but we also support the language extensions like OpenMP and now Silk Plus. And we've, just like we have with some of these other standards, we've implemented very high-performance versions of it. We offer it through our tools, but then we also turn around and make it available to other compiler implementers. You could think of them as our competition, at least in tools, but they're our fellow travelers as far as supporting hardware out there. So with Silk Plus, we have contributed the very sophisticated runtime to open source, and have been working with the GNU compiler community as well to integrate it there. So not only do we have this support in our compiler, but we're seeing increasing interest in it in other compilers, other tool chains out there as well, which makes it even more valuable, I think, in our tool chain as an offering. So that's sort of a high-level overview. High performance. You can expect, great things out of Intel compilers and libraries in this Parallel Studio. Strong support for standards and strong support for multi-core parallelism.
James, just kind of a high-level question for you. Why is it so important for Intel to develop these tools themselves rather than leave it out to open source?
I think we've proven that everybody can use help, whether it's a company or open source. When you say just leave it to the open source community, I think that would just put us in a situation where we were hoping other people out of, whatever motivation or the generosity of their heart would support our hardware. And I think a lot of people would. But we think we can be helpful at accelerating that, helpful at taking our technology. And as a software guy, there's one other thing that really is near and dear to my heart. I think if you're going to design the hardware, you ought to be responsible for helping write the software that uses it. I think it can be a little bit dangerous if you let hardware architects go crazy with their brilliant ideas without having to ever actually implement a compiler to utilize it, or a library or a performance tool. So we have a opportunity at Intel to interact with the architects closely and understand what it takes for a compiler to take advantage of a new feature like AVX, or language features to take advantage of multi-core parallelism, and we can help accelerate that dialogue and affect not only the software from Intel but the hardware. And hopefully we're, with the open source community, hopefully we do a good job of being a community citizen and helping contribute to projects like the GNU compiler, as opposed to being an outsider trying to dump anything on them. I think we've done a good job of that, and I think the net effect is that we're able to provide a connection with the Intel architects for the silicon, educate them about software, but then also help accelerate the development of this into the open source community by being a helping hand, if you will.
So James, I'm looking at your slide that has all the quotes from various customers. It's a pretty impressive lineup you have here. Would you say that these tools kind of give Intel a competitive advantage over the other offerings out there?
Well, I hope so. I think we one advantage we have with our architecture is the strong support the industry has given Intel architecture, and so we feel a certain obligation and self-interest at continuing to develop that ecosystem. It's the largest ecosystem for software out there is for Intel architecture. So it gives us, at Intel, an advantage having that ecosystem be strong, vibrant, and large. So it may not give the tools may not give a specific opportunity, advantage to the Intel microprocessors versus a compatible, but it gives all x86 processors an advantage versus processors that are in smaller ecosystems. so the tools do that. I think the thing that gives us a bigger advantage than anything is the customers. You said we have an impressive lineup of customers. These customers are amazing, and we build great tools for them that help them, but those customers, having a relationship with them, having them tell us what they're trying to do, giving us insights into how we can build better processors, better software for them, that's the real gold mine for us, is the customers themselves. So winning them with our tools, having them share their experiences with us, that's the real gold mine for us. And I'm just blessed to have such an amazing group of customers.
Now, do they help you as far as when you're lining up what features and things for the next release? Do they help you kind of define that roadmap or give you suggestions?
Absolutely. And every customer is a little different, but I would say each of our customers has areas of particular interest, and we work with them to find how we can incorporate their feedback. We've had some customers participate on somewhat formal advisory boards. I think most of our customers participate in a more informal basis with whoever they work with at discussing their problems and challenges with us, and sometimes that leads to some interesting discussions or even some prototyping work between the companies to try to prove out an idea and decide what to do.
Well, great. Well, kind of a wrap-up question here, James. This is a service pack. Do you guys have a published roadmap about the next full release coming up?
I don't think we've published a public roadmap per se. I'm not sure how exciting that is to people. I can tell you what I expect. So next year, there's a number of big things happening in the industry, and I expect we will time a major release to match up with those. And the two big things that I can think of is one is from Intel, is somewhere late next year or the year after, early 2013, the mic architecture will, the first processor using that will come out. The most that we can say about timing at this point is it'll be on our 22 nanometer process, which we anticipate being at that time frame, roughly the end of next year, early 2013. So we're going to make sure that our tools, they support mic right now, but not publicly, and they're in a state of flux. We'll productize that. And then the other thing that we're watching is that the development on is Windows 8 and what implications that may have on our tools and concurrency. I think we'll be learning more about that possibly at the Build event, but you'd have to ask Microsoft. This is just, as a customer and a tool vendor into that space, we think that that'll shape our roadmap. So as we learn more about the exact timing on the mic architecture, the exact timing on Windows 8, then we'll be able to put more specific plans in place. But our customers have been telling us that those are two things for us to be tracking and making sure, that we don't release a software update randomly, a few months too early to be in sync with those. So that may give you some insight in how tool vendors plan their releases. We kind of watch other things that we think we ought to support and try to line up with those. So that's my expectation. It also lines up with the fact that we usually put a major release out about every 2 years, and next year would be on that cycle.
So, James, is this service pack, is this available for download or purchase now?
It will be available on Thursday, which is the date that the embargo lifts, and that's when the software actually is released, is Thursday this week. And it will be available for download and purchase and all those good things on Thursday.
Terrific. Well, congratulations on that. And I want to thank you once again for coming on the show today.
Well, my pleasure. It's always very nice talking with you.
Okay, James. Well, hopefully we'll see you in Seattle at SC11 coming up here.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, great. Well, that's it for the Rich Report, folks. Stay tuned for more news and information on high performance computing.